Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and welcome to another VEDA2 video. So, today we're going to do something that might crush my soul. We're going to react to 1-star reviews of some of my favourite books, or some books that I've rated 5 stars. I'm not going to screen record because I'm just going to read them to you and we'll react. I've seen many people do this. I have seen Brittany from Brittany the Bibliophile do this. I'm pretty sure Aaron from Booked and Busy has done this. There are probably many other people who have done this. If you know who originally did this, I guess it's not really a tag, but if you do, let me know down below so I can give them credit. But this is the first time I've done this video. I thought it'd be quite fun. I wanted to see what people thought. So the first book that I have chosen, I've only actually pre-chosen one book. I think we might do 3. We'll see how long this goes on for. But the first book is Black Sun. So I gave this book 5 stars last year. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. However, there are 231 1-star reviews of this book that I'm interested in delving more into. So let's check them out. So I'm not trying to find essays, but if we find some, we find some, because I'm not really interested in passing English GCSE. And we'll see if I agree with these, right? So I also read this book last year, so I may or may not remember like every little thing that these people might complain about. But this first one is, this book is getting a lot of great reviews based solely on being inclusive. There are characters introduced who are gay or bi, and the book is written using plural pronouns for characters who aren't defined. That's not an issue for me in the slightest, but it's not a reason to push on through the terrible writing either. Okay. I'm a DNF at page 57. Oh geez. I'm unable to relate to you what the plot is after reading that far because no plot has been established whatsoever. Oh. Don't agree with that, personally. But we all read differently, so that's cool. What else does it say? There are several characters we are introduced to who will likely make up a cast of protagonists, but I can't say for sure because after 57 pages nothing has happened other than a mother doing some pretty horrific things to her kid, including sewing his eyes shut. Yeah, spoiler alert, that does happen. I don't know where we're at within. I don't have my copy near me to hand to figure out where we're at page 57, but I'm sure by that point we're introduced to, I want to say her name is like Xander, something like that. Again, it's been a year, so I can't really remember names either. But I think that happens within 57 pages, and she gets given the task to take Serapio to Tova. So I think that's a plot point. But again, my biggest complaint is the world building, because that's largely what the first 57 pages of this book attempts to do. Okay, maybe we haven't met her yet. Or have we met the sun goddess? I can't. 57 pages are like really specific to remember where we've been up to. But okay, I didn't care for any of it. It's so convoluted, and Roanhorse makes no effort to connect to the reader as she tediously explains it. Unfortunately, her work fails because I couldn't even explain the world of this story to you in any meaningful way after getting this deep into the book. I have no desire to know more. I don't care enough about any character that I want to see what happens next. I'm not interested in anything going on. I enjoy Roanhorse's work in the Star Wars universe. I haven't actually read that. If anyone has, let me know how good it is down below. And I really like the previous series, which had me looking forward to reading this one, but Roanhorse is overreaching here. I can't recommend it. Oh, that hurts my soul, to be fair, because to me, like, I thought the world building was exactly on point. But again, like, the same goes for every 1-star review I read throughout this video. Like, we all read books differently. We all take different things. I love a good world building scene, as in, like, getting to know where we're at and where we've been dropped, and, like, I'm also that reader that likes big chunky fantasy books that I'm so confused in for the first half of the book, and then all of a sudden it makes sense. I like that sort of stuff, and not everyone else does, so I get that, but that is a little bit sad. Right, let's find one that isn't actually long, like that long. Okay, this one's short. Someone says, this was a book I really wanted to like but just couldn't bring myself to enjoy. I think it has potential, and maybe if I bring myself to try it again at a later time I might enjoy it more. But as for now, it's a DNF as I just couldn't get into it. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I feel like that's going to be the common theme with this book, is that people couldn't get into it, maybe? I don't know. Oh god, this is just like... Zalia, that's her name, but this one's long. I had to DNF at around 50%. I'm disappointed. I thought I'd really enjoy Black Sun. The opening chapter really hooked me. It was so exciting with so many interesting character and world building opportunities introduced. Unfortunately, immediately after the opening, the narrative jumps forward in time and follows completely different characters for an absurd amount of time. I don't agree with that. Like, I don't think it jumps... Like, the characters that it jumps to, they all come together in the end. Like, it all ties in. Like, it's not just like Jerry the janitor being followed around and then we never see Jerry ever again. Like, we meet these characters throughout the book, but I get it. Like, that makes sense. I found it confusing and boring. Halfway through, I don't think that I could really state even the basic goal of each character and give a brief overview of the plot. Okay, like, I don't agree with that. Like, the basic point of Exalia is to transport Serapio to Tova, and Serapio is going to Tova to do something with his prophecy, which I don't really remember, but like, I get for him. But like, Exalia has like a clear arc, I think, personally. Narampa did not grab me at all as a character. She was dull. Yeah, she is pretty dull, but at the same time, like, she's a priestess. Like, doesn't really go outside. It's not a lot for her to do. Additionally, there is a side character, Iktan. Yeah, I remember this. He was referred to with XE pronouns. The character is pretty cool, but the unnaturalness of the pronouns did constantly pull me out of the story as I tried to process them. I also could not picture the character at all. I do have to agree with that, to be fair. The way the pronouns were used was quite jarring in the sense that it just like pulled you back out, and that didn't gel with me. And I do agree that Narampa is boring, but at the same time, like, she's meant to be. Like, I don't think she's meant to be very exciting. I did like Exalia better. She was also basically a female Jack Sparrow, and I get tired of hyper-masculine heroines. I don't agree. Like, I don't really see a lot of them. I feel like, personally, women in fantasy, not all of them. Like, I feel like I'm finding more fantasy where women are better depicted, but in some fantasy, especially growing up, like, girls weren't really present, or if they were present, like, they were sidekicks or the know-it-alls. I like Exalia. I think she's badass. Serapio is kind of intriguing once he finally appears, but I'm just not invested enough in the story to continue. I really think that modern books have a huge problem with having too much going on, either plot and or characters, and prioritise checking off boxes on the diversity bingo card than in actually telling a good cohesive story. More isn't always better. Sometimes it's just more. That's how this book... No. Maybe some books, but not all. Not. No. No, not all modern books. Like, that's a very big statement to make. Like, all of these books have to check. No, they don't. Like, they're just... I don't know. I thought it was quite good. But yeah, okay, that's another 1-star review. I think we'll do one more of this one and then I'll find another book to talk about, because I just can't keep slamming Black Sun, if I'm honest. Some of it I agree with, but some of it I don't. Right, okay, no, I just want like a short... This one's short and paragraphy. DNF at 35%. I really just didn't vibe the book or the characters. The plot seemed to be going nowhere, and at this point I still don't know, and worse, I don't care who anyone is or why they are relevant to the grand scheme of things. I really wanted to like this since it is set in such a unique world, but the world building really didn't give me much, if any, understanding of the world. At this point in a book, I would hope that the personalities of the characters and the general idea behind the plot would be established along with the world building to tie it all together. I don't feel like I was invested at all. It's just obviously not the book for you. Like, it makes sense. I like that. There's no, like... That 1-star review is more like you as a reader, which is pretty cool. It's not bashing the book, if that makes sense. But, yeah, so that was fun. What else have I given 5 stars? Oh, the Night Circus. I'm sure that's got some. That's got to have some. Let's have a look. Again, I gave this book 5 stars last year, so... Oh yeah, there's a bit of a chunk on that bar, if I'm honest. Right, again, let's not go for paragraphs because I just don't want to know. But this book has got 20,357 one-star reviews out of 832,000. So that's pretty good going. Actually, I don't want to read that one. I want to read the one below that shouts. Where's the shouty one? There's a shouty one. It's not a paragraph, that's good. Well, it's not like to me. It literally says, in bold, nothing happened in this book. You know when you start reading a book and the writing is so magical and you feel like you're in a fairy tale because the author's sentences flow like flower petals in the wind, and then you keep on reading and reading and the writing is still magical. I'm taking out swear words, by the way. And also, nothing has really happened. And then you're at the end of the book where the writing is still so magical, but still nothing happened. Yeah, that was this book. I feel like something did happen. There was no like big action scene or anything like that, but this book is like a beautifully written book. Like, it's not meant to like have swords clashing and armor swaying and all that fun stuff that I also do quite enjoy, but this writing is like so, it is magical, I will agree, and it is beautiful. But we meet some characters that we actually get ties with, like our two main characters that kind of like, you know, go up against each other in this magical competition, you know, like they do something. I mean, there's no like big fight, like it's all very subtle, but I liked that. Like, not everything has to be like in your face, come on, it's just meant to be a beautiful book, and it was. So okay, but you have your opinions, I have mine. This one literally just says, did not finish, I tried, too much pretty writing and too little actual plot. Yeah. See, I felt like that with the Starless Sea, not with the Night Circus. I felt like the Starless Sea was so beautiful in like its writing and its descriptions and the world and stuff, but it went nowhere, whereas I feel like the Night Circus actually went somewhere. Maybe that was like the hint of the magical competition thing for me, but I did actually feel like it went somewhere rather than just, I don't know, like, I don't know. It's just one of them. Oh, this one's interesting. Please don't. Oh, it's massive. That's like me scroll. I don't want to scroll that much. I'm not in that much. Ah, there you go. This one's shorter. I don't know if this is just me, but I've absolutely no idea what's happening in this book. I was constantly confused and still don't know what the game was about, and that was kind of the main premise of the book. So, also it was slow, really slow. I was bored out of my skull. Was there a plot? Barely. There is a plot. It's just subtle. I think that's the difference. Like, usually I am like a big fan of these things that are like, we're going to stab this person and we're going to go into this massive battle and we need to assassinate this, or we need to do this and we need to save that. And this isn't like that. Like, they're just illusionists, and it's like a lot more subtle and beautiful. I do understand and I do agree with the whole like book being slow. Like, it is the slowest slow burn romance of the world. But I also love that because I don't really like romance, so maybe that's why I loved it so much, not too sure. And this also says, and the year kept jumping around and it told me at the start of each chapter, but I couldn't keep track. How on earth was I meant to remember what was happening, in what year, to whom, when it changed every chapter? It was so hard to follow. See, I read books that jump around like that all the time, so maybe I'm just used to stuff like that. But there are a lot of books that obviously change destination and time and all sorts of things, and they're very timey-wimey, like in Doctor Who, but I'm used to that. Like, it's not an issue for me. But again, that's a me personal thing. That's not going to be the same for everyone else. So, meh. Personal preference again. I was not a fan of this book, and I do not understand the hype at all. Well, no, that's fair enough. That's for you to understand. That's for you not to understand. That's completely cool. Someone else has put, nothing happened and then nothing happened again. That, I think that is obviously like the cohesive theme for these 1-star reviews, is that nothing happens in the Night Circus. And I can agree, like, nothing big does happen, and I think it is very much just in like the prose and stuff about this book. But stuff does happen. Like, just a little bit. Right, one more, and then we'll go. We'll go on to a third book. Okay, the last quarter of this book was better than the rest, but overall I found myself disinterested in the story and characters. The author gives grand descriptions of the environment and nothing ever seems to happen. I think that's the thing with this book. So, if you like knowing why the grass is green, you'll enjoy the Night Circus. If you want to know who's walking on the green grass, maybe you won't enjoy Night Circus. But at the same time with the Night Circus, I feel like a big part of this book is the world and like describing the Night Circus in itself and where it sets down and the random people that come through and the people that and the people that work there and those little tiny weeny things that we usually overlook. Like, I loved that, like things that I would notice every day, descriptions of like the specific clock and what the tickets look like. I want to know that stuff. I want to be that much in detail. But again, that's a personal preference. And again, that's probably why I gave it 5 stars. But like those little things are what just made me love this book. Right, I need a third book. And I don't know what else I've given 5 stars to, so I'm gonna have to actually like look and see what else I've given 5 stars to. Maybe this year. My problem is at the minute is that the books that I'm reading don't have thousands upon thousands of ratings. I'm reading a lot of indie at the minute, and they're not at like that 800,000 reviews, which give you like a good choice of 1-star reviews to actually read. Oh, do you know what would be good for 1-star reviews? So many years ago, I do read, but I didn't do this. I read some of the Marked series by PC Cast, which is like a daughter and mother duo who write these books. They are not YA, but I did read them. This has got 15,000. Oh no, it doesn't. Sorry. We've got over 466,000 reviews. And how many 1-star reviews have we got? Over 26,000. So let's dive into some of these 1-star reviews, because I feel like these might be a little bit juicier. Yeah, okay, let's start with this one. Read about half of it, hated it, I'm returning the rest to the library. Are you keeping half of the book? Carrying on. The authors tried to make so many references to pop culture, they sounded ridiculous, and then they were even proud of themselves for sounding like teenagers, as they stated in the preference. Dumb. They tried to make moral lessons out of the life of this fledgling and had her reject things like Paris Hilton's weight, oral sex amongst teenagers, and Ashton Kutcher unfortunately liking older women. Oh my gosh, I remember. Yeah, to be fair. Yeah. Oh, and the world was separated into the vampires and the religious right. Could they be more obvious, parading their own moral agenda in young adult fiction? Regardless of whether you agree or disagree with the values they project in this book, they can make it so plain that they are trying to jam-pack the book with certain ideals that it turns out like literary rubbish. I'm changing words. If you want an awesome, captivating fantasy fiction series that gets teenage girls thinking about our over-sexualized and beautified culture, try Scott Westfield. That's The Uglies. I have had that on my list for a while to try, and I just haven't got round to it. And I don't know if I'd enjoy it as much now at my age as I would have when I read Marked. But maybe we'll try it one day. He's a little more subtle and thus requires some intelligent thought on what you're reading. Oh, burn. Yeah, no, to be fair, there's a lot. So from what I remember from the first book, Marked, in this series, is that it opens up on this chapter with Zoe, who is our main character, and her boyfriend, maybe, but she's at school basically, and the way you get marked as a vampire is you end up getting like this tattoo on your head that I think an older vampire kind of gives you, like kind of like a ghost, like they appear out of nowhere, kind of point at you menacingly and then disappear, and then you go, oh, I've got a headache, and then this thing appears on your head, and if you don't get rushed to a house of night, which is the boarding school essentially, then you die, or you get sick and die, or there is death involved basically. And yeah, I'm pretty sure the first chapter, Zoe gets marked by some weird scary vampire, goes out into the car park, she drives a Beetle, I remember that, sees her boyfriend, has to hide her mark, or he sees her mark? I don't know. And then she ends up going to this school. There are a lot of problems with the Marked series from what I remember, like a lot. Like I think at one point she, like, I don't know if this is in the same book, and this is probably spoilers. If you don't want to know, like, just keep skipping, but I'm pretty sure at one point, like, she feeds off her human boyfriend's blood and like enraptures him to her or something. And there's a lot of like low level like R-rated content in this book, and like it might be okay like now, I don't know, like I just feel as though when I'm saying like a lot, I just feel as though when I read this book I was too young to read the R-rated stuff. Just me personally. And maybe if I'd have read it when I was older, say like 16 rather than 12, it would have been better for me. But that's just me personally. Like, again, I'm not a big romance reader ever, and I think I should have just stuck with the dragons at that point in my life. But anyways, carrying on. Actually, this is long and I'm not going to read all of this, but I'm going to read this chapter that they've got because it sums up the first chapter very, very well. This was how the book started. The first 2 pages literally went Tweenie 1, oh my god, like insert some Tweenie rubbish gossip here. Tweenie 2, oh my god, like no, more gossip and more MGs. Tweenie 1, oh my god, yeah. All of a sudden some macho vamp guy stands in the hallway between Teenie number 1 and is like, Zoe, you have been chosen to be the main character in a book that is so not trying to be like Twilight, but yeah, you have been chosen. And then they're like, oh my god, you've been chosen! Tweenie 1, snap, I have been chosen. Tweenie 2, snap, and oh my god, you're a freak now, I'm out of here. That is literally it. Like, her friend just goes, bye, and then just goes away because Zoe is now a vampire and she doesn't want anything to do with her. And that is pretty true. And to be fair, the comment about Twilight, yeah, this book came out after, maybe? I remember thinking, like, oh, I'm so cool, like, everyone's reading Twilight and loving Twilight and I'm on the next best thing, and it wasn't the next best thing at all. Like, if I could go back and tell past me, do not read that, I would have saved myself a lot of heartache. But yeah, let's find something else. What is this one saying? Oh, okay. This is probably one of the worst books I've ever read. It was horrible. The writing was stupid. If you like to read a grown woman trying to talk like a teenager, then this is for you. I hated it. I mean, I felt stupid after reading some of this. They compared people to Paris Hilton and Ashton Kutcher. They brought oral sex into it, and they didn't just briefly talk about it. They made it stretch out over a couple of chapters. This mother and daughter writing team needs to rethink working together again. My daughter will not read these books. Heck, I don't even think adults would want to read this. If you want a good series, read Twilight or Blue Blood series. Do not waste your time on this series. I'm returning all 4 books back to the store. Absolutely horrible. I think that sums up that. So yeah, there you go. There's some 1-star reviews. I'm not saying that I loved Marked, because I didn't, but I do remember enjoying quite a lot of it when I was a tween. But looking back on it, it is so problematic, like so problematic. I actually do kind of want to go back and read it, because I was reading it as it was coming out. Bearing in mind the names of this series are like Marked, Betrayed, Tempted, Chosen. They were like really snappy 1-word titles. And they had like different females posing like sultry faces, like most vampire books did at that time. Like when I was 12 to, I don't know, 15 odd, that was like prime vampire time, and every book that had a vampire storyline had a girl near enough, or that I saw a girl staring sultrily into whatever camera was shooting her face, and then they painted, well, for the Marked series, they painted pictures on their foreheads as the marks that vampires had. It's bonkers being reminded of that. But anyways, there you go. There's 3 different books, 2 of which I absolutely adored, and 1 that I do remember being problematic, and some of their 1-star reviews. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, really supports me and my channel. Leave me a comment down below of, I don't know, the worst book that you've ever read that you would give 1 star to. For me, I think it was like 2 years ago, and it was The Sin Eater's Daughter, or The Sin Eater, or something like that, and it just did not... It just annoyed me. That book went nowhere. Really nowhere. But, again, personal preference. Do not take anything I have said offensively. I'm not meaning to be offensive. I obviously love 2 of these books, and the 3rd one, it's just for a bit of fun. But if you want to see more of me, see more of the content that I'm coming out with this month, please consider subscribing down below and ringing that notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload a new video. I'm uploading every day in the month of August, so make sure you come back tomorrow to see what else I'm putting out. And the playlist will be linked down below so you can check out what has already come out. Otherwise, that is everything for today's video. I hope you've had an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Bye.